Hey everybody, Tim and Chucky here for another Star Wars review. I forgot what we were doing already. Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, came out in 1983, 5 years before I was born. 9 years before you were born?
Yeah, I was 92.
Yeah, Jordan was 93, so hashtag math.
Yeah.
This is actually my favorite Star Wars movie. Like, I love this movie more than every other Star Wars movie, which by definition makes it my favorite. So you can tell as we keep doing these reviews, I just keep getting drunker. So that's cool.
It's okay.
So for me, this movie, God, the first movie came out in 1977. So 78, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83. 6 years between episode 4 and episode 6. We are both millennials because we are in that 25 to 35 range. Mm-hmm. We are used to movies now. Mm-hmm. Like, you look at Harry Potter, you look at Twilight, you look at the Marvel movies. If it's Pirates of the Caribbean, even The Matrix, if you have a 2-part movie, we want it like 6 months, maybe a year together. No, that's not how this worked. It's been 3 years since Return of the Jedi, 6 years for the entire trilogy. And for me, I love it. Like, from the opening scene of Jabba's palace, where we actually see the only Jedi Knight of Luke Skywalker, where he shows up and he's like all in black and he has his own lightsaber. Like, I remember being young and just like obviously not like an actual hard on, but like, oh my fucking God, like, what is this?
Yeah, he looks savage for sure.
Like, I was like, this is like, because when we first see Luke, he's kind of a whiny bitch.
Yeah.
In episode 4. And then when he comes in this and he's like, Jabba, I'm going to kill you. And I'm going to save my friends.
Yeah. And
then we're going to leave. And even Jabba's like, oh. It's a good Jabba laugh.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty good.
And it's like, okay. And then sure enough, like, Luke's a savage in this movie. And it's great.
He goes harder than he did in the first two.
Mm-hmm. But I love the whole Jabba sequence. The fact that they did get Harrison Ford back, because there was some touch and go of, is he going to return? Is he not going to return? He did. Lando's back. The Rancor scene is great, in my opinion. God. Which, so in a completely separate movie review, so it's no secret, we live in Oregon/Washington. It's legal here. You like to smoke the reefer.
Yes.
You've seen Pineapple Express,
of course.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
My favorite scene in that entire fucking movie is when they're dragging James Franco down the stairs. He's like, no, I don't want to go down there. What's down there? It's fucking Rancor.
I remember that. Yeah.
I remember the first time I saw that movie. It was like 10 years ago. I saw it with my girlfriend at the time. And I was like, I lost my shit. And she had never seen Star Wars. And she's like, what's a Rancor? And I lost it. Because, I mean, it's stupid stoner humor with Seth Rogen and stuff.
Yeah, but he threw the Star Wars reference in because he's a huge nerd.
And it fucking, like, hit home with me. Because, I don't really smoke that often. And I, what's down there? It's Rancor! Boom. Lost it. Could not watch the movie. Like, had to stop the movie. Because it broke me. It was so fucking random. I was like, that is perfect. Yeah. Because, for, people like Seth Rogen or even Seth MacFarlane, for Family Guy.
Yeah, because they reference Rancors all the time.
They have such a specific humor range. Like, I'll be watching, Family Guy with Jordan or something, and they'll make, some obscure musical reference from the 30s. And it happens to be something I've seen, and I lose it. And Jordan's laughing, and I'm like, you've never even seen what they're talking about. And he's like, no, but it's funny. And I'm like, you don't even know.
You don't know.
And I mean, realistically, even The Simpsons does that. Or Futurama.
Futurama did that a lot.
They're walking around drinking Soylent soda. And I'm like, that's fucking, it's a reference to Soylent Green. And people are like, what's Soylent Green?
Exactly.
It's a movie from the 70s.
Oh, okay.
But it's such a specific humor that me being the movie person I am, like,
Yeah.
I pick up on stuff like that, but, like, it's Rancor! I lost it. Because I like Rancor.
Yeah, Rancor was dope. There should have been more Rancor.
Yeah. And if you watch the original, this is one of those movies that has been edited, because the slave girl dancing, if you watch the original uncut version of this movie, her titties pop out when she drops down. So, this is also one of those where we talked about for The Empire Strikes Back, where they've re-edited the movie so many times. And I remember watching the re-edited version for the first time, and they added like this long 10-minute sequence of Jabba's band just doing their thing.
Yeah.
And it's like...
That wouldn't have been very enjoyable.
But, I mean, and it's so CGI'd, but it's like 1999, 2000 CGI.
Snake jazz.
Yeah, and so you're just like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, I guess it's better than 1983 CGI, but why did you feel the need to add a 10-minute musical sequence? Like, it's just odd to me. This is the death, supposedly, of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Because he falls into the Sarlacc pit. Which, have you ever seen, like, a whole Sarlacc?
Yeah, I think I saw one of those videos on Facebook that it broke down different creatures in the Sarlacc. It's just like fucking...
It's like a Diglett.
Yeah.
It's massive.
Yeah.
I don't know. What are your feelings about Boba Fett? Because
I feel like his armor would have protected him in the Sarlacc pit, unless they condensed, they don't really ever explain how the Sarlacc works and the way its digestive system, or however the fuck it breaks things down works.
I have to agree. Like I said,
his armor is supposedly impervious.
Like I said, this is my favorite movie. The dumbest line of all of Star Wars is also in this movie, where C-3PO is like, the Sarlacc will, like, disintegrate you for 1,000 years. No, you're only going to survive for about maybe 2 weeks, and then you're going to die of, like, dehydration or starvation. And then you're done.
Oxygen deprivation?
Yeah, like, you're not going to be, like, digested in torture for 1,000 years. Like...
Your body might take that long to digest.
Yeah,
but
you're going to die long before that. So, like, favorite movie, dumbest line. I can admit that.
But he's also a robot.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. It's a translation error. There you go. Good job. So, popular theory is that Boba Fett did survive. At this point, I don't even know if it's canon or not, because everybody says Boba Fett survived. And realistically, Star Wars has rewritten its history so many times.
Well, yeah, now with The Mandalorian and all of the information they brought about the Mandalorian race.
Well, the fact that Disney bought it, like, they've changed, like... Because, I mean, in the original continuity, like, Luke had a wife and kids, and Han and Leia had kids, but Chewbacca died. Like, they've rewritten history so many times, and now Disney's doing their own history. I think it's a popular theory, like, Boba Fett did survive. Like, he is out there somewhere. Because even George Lucas said, like, he didn't mean for Boba Fett to go out like a bitch, like he did.
I didn't know he said that.
Yeah, I don't know if he said those exact words, but I'm just going to pretend that George Lucas is like, yeah, he went out like a bitch.
He went out like a bitch.
And I mean...
the jetpack. He's the only person with a fucking jetpack, and he couldn't just fly out of that?
Yeah, so...
You tell me that just automatically disabled as soon as he entered the hole?
But yeah, I don't know. So, what are your feelings? Do you think Boba Fett died? Do you think Boba Fett's alive?
No. After watching The Mandalorian later on, I mean, then, yes, definitely thought he was dead forever.
You think so?
Definitely thought I was. But I knew nothing
and I appreciate that.
Knew nothing about Sarlacc, knew nothing about the Mandalorian race then, but now, with all of the information, I would say no, he survived. He got out of that somehow. He's a fucking Mandalorian.
Oh, but is he? That's actually a whole debate on if Jango and Boba are actual Mandalorians or not. That's a different conversation for a different review.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So we get that. We actually see the Emperor for the first time. My dumbass still has not looked up his name. It's Ian something. Ian Malcolm, Ian something. And it starts with an M. It's like Ian Mc something. Terrific actor. I don't know. What are your feelings of the Emperor? What did you think about the Emperor? Like the whole lightning thing, the whole like, yes, let the hate flow through you. Like what stands out to you? Did the Emperor stand out to you at all?
Yes, he did, because he was creepy and old and wrinkly, and like the fucking lightning fingers, I was like, what in the shit is this? Is he trying to be Zeus, but like evil? And at the time, I was a pretty angry kid, so I was like, "Oh hell no! I don't need this guy on my fucking side." No, so no, I did not like him.
Okay, I can appreciate that. Random trivia fact. So this is the third movie in the series, fourth if you count the holiday special. This is the first movie to actually say the name Anakin in it. None of the others actually said the name Anakin.
In the later three movies? Or in the 6, 7, and 8?
Well, I mean, they do. And even in
episodes,
episodes 1, 2, and 3, they say Anakin.
Yeah. But you're saying in the second, or in the original set.
In chronological order, this is the first time we've ever heard the name Anakin.
And in the last movie.
No, this is 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's 6.
Yeah.
You hear Anakin for the first
So you don't
time.
hear it in 4 and 5.
That's
you
fine.
just hear Darth Vader. Luke talks about, like, my father in the Clone Wars.
No, that's where they're setting it up to go back.
But yeah, they never actually say the name. Even when he's like, in episode 4, where he's talking to Ben, and he's like, you fought with my father in the Clone Wars. He never says his name. This is the first time where he's like, you are my father. You are Anakin.
I would not have caught that.
Yeah. So, kind of random trivia. I think this is the first, I could be wrong, but I think this is the first movie with a green lightsaber also. I think episodes 4 and 5 are blue, and this one is green.
I felt like the one he was given before he left was green.
No. Because I think the one that
that
Anakin's original
gave him,
was blue.
Yeah, the one Kenobi gave him was blue.
And then he loses that one at the end of The Empire Strikes Back,
That's
when
the
Vader
one
cuts his hand off.
That's the one Kenobi gives fucking Luke, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the blue one.
Yeah.
And this one, Luke makes his own finally, and it's green.
Wait, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because he's looking savage and black, and he's got the green lightsaber. Yeah,
I think this
it's like
is the
on
first
the cover
green.
of the damn movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Or he's got the black glove too to cover his missing hand.
his little Terminator hand.
Yep. One of the things that did piss me off about this movie is, again, with the whole, like, let's add more CGI scenes to it. Because after they defeat the second Death Star, they go through, like, these long, like, you see Coruscant, because at that point episodes 1 and 2 had come out, maybe even 3. And you even hear a Gungan yell, "We are free!" And it's like, why is this a thing? And then in the movie, original or remake, whatever, Luke looks over and he sees Yoda, and then he sees Ben or Obi-Wan, and then he sees his father. And in the original, it was just an actor. That it's like, okay, so that's Anakin. So we see Anakin as himself. But they retouched it up, so now it's Hayden Christensen, who played Anakin in episodes 2 and 3.
Gotcha.
And I remember the first time I saw that, and I was like, why is it Hayden Christensen? Like, that always bugged me.
You know, I totally didn't really. Is he in Jumper? Is he the main?
Yeah, he's the main
that's
character.
him. Yeah, I thought that was him.
Yeah.
I totally wondered for years why I recognized him from
In
something.
Life as a House.
I don't think I saw that one.
It's a good movie. I actually really like that movie. Like, I don't think he's a bad actor. Like, he gets so much hate.
Yeah, no.
Kind of like Robert Pattinson. Like, everybody hates Robert Pattinson for Twilight. He's actually a really good actor. But Hayden Christensen, like, I have nothing against him as an actor. But
No,
like,
I thought he did a great job.
I don't like how they put him in episode 6, though. Like, I was fine with it being the older Anakin, not the younger.
Yeah, because they kept it open to interpretation, and they went back and changed it because they finally picked somebody.
Yeah, and I still don't like it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is my favorite movie. I love the Ewoks. I am that person.
The Ewoks are fucking great when they're taking out all the robots.
With Warwick Davis, who plays Wicket.
I don't remember.
But he's a terrific actor. He's been in like Harry Potter and Willow.
Oh, the shorter guy.
Yeah, but he's great. He's a great actor. And I mean, he did his own 2 movies after this. Like, there are actually 2 Ewok movies.
I know.
That are after
I
this.
don't remember them, but I know of them.
They're terrible and amazing at the same time. I love them. So, between Jabba's palace, between the space battles, between the death of Yoda, because we do go back to Dagobah, the Sarlacc pit, the moon of Endor, do you have like a favorite scene? Most people hate the Ewoks. I don't know. I like the Ewoks.
I definitely like the Force fighting scenes.
Really?
That was a lot of fun.
So, that kind of actually reminds me. So, I think most people, I don't know, I could be wrong, had like favorite toys growing up.
I mean, yeah.
So I had 3 favorite action figures that realistically I think I still have. My 3 favorite figures playing with as a child was Batman in a white suit. I have no idea where that came from. A Velociraptor from Jurassic Park. And actually Han Solo in his long trench coat that's like camo.
Interesting.
So this movie actually also gave me my favorite action figure. So I thought it was cool. And I don't know, in hindsight, looking back on it, because I mean, all kids play with their action figures and make up voices and characters and stuff. And I remember having Han Solo and fighting with him, and with that trench coat and the way, like, because I mean, as kids, like, action figures could, like, their arms moved and their legs moved, and that's it. So I could only do so much. But it was almost Matrix style, where because he had that long trench coat, and I would,
you can make him look like Neo.
I would imagine him like do a kick, and then his coat would fly over the person's head, and then he would do like an undercut. I don't know. Realistically, I wasn't on drugs as a kid, but maybe I was. So. For you, what stands out? Any thoughts for this movie?
I mean,
before we close the original trilogy,
it was a good closing to a trilogy. To be honest, like
this is the last Star Wars movie for like 15 years.
Yeah, I'm fucking aware.
Yeah. Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't born yet, so I got to miss a huge chunk of that.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. But I mean, it did a really good job at closing all of the stories and kind of leaving it open to where if they ever did want to continue from that point of view, that they could go off and do something different. Might not necessarily be able to keep all the same actors. Yeah, but, you know, shit changes.
Like it.
Walked into it open-minded, they could do it again. And, you know, they did. Fucking, but, you know.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, that's what I think is kind of interesting about Star Wars. And the whole reason... I haven't actually shown you, but I have the way that I'm doing these reviews blocked off in 3 groups. The first saga, the second saga, and the third saga. And the reason I'm doing it kind of in chronological order, the order of release, is because it seems like every other day, which is an exaggeration, but whatever, Star Wars is putting something out that kind of connects the different eras. Whereas, like, even though they're focusing on the new trilogy of 7, 8, and 9, we're still getting Solo, which takes place, like, right after Episode 3. We're getting Rogue One, which takes place right before Episode 4. We're getting the TV show of Resistance, which takes place right before Episode 7. We're getting The Mandalorian, which takes place right after Episode 6. So, like, they're still, like, they're like, you know what? Here, we're just random periods in time, but here
they're just like filling in the timeline all over.
So I feel like in order of release is the only way to actually do these types of reviews.
Yeah.
But okay, so that closes us out for the original trilogy. Last thoughts? Nothing?
No,
we're good.
It was a good set of movies.
Good. I know. I like the original trilogy. Like I said, I feel I mentioned it in the last review. I kind of felt like because this came out like at least 5 years before I was born. Like I feel like it's just part of my DNA. Like it's one of those just classics.
It was weird. I mean, I was raised on them.
So like, I mean, I remember seeing episodes 1, 2, and 3 when I was really little, and now being an adult watching 7, 8, and 9, I can only imagine like 10, 15 years if or when I have kids. And they're like, you remember seeing that? Like that's how I feel talking to like people older than me, like my parents' age and stuff like that. Like, what was it like 1980
being able to go walk into the theater and watch those
to see Star Wars? Like it's never been done, so it's pretty entertaining. I really liked it. So thank you for doing these reviews. I really appreciate it.
No, I'm having fun,
and I'm curious what you guys think as far as like the original trilogy as a whole. Go ahead, let me know, and I will see you guys next time. I will next be doing, like I said, I'm doing everything Star Wars, so I will see you guys next time for the first Ewok movie, The Caravan of Courage.